The final 2 weeks of the regular season is considered crunch time for these two teams, as both these need a win, but ever more so for the home team Carolina Skyhawks, who still, after a 3-7 record to their season, have a chance to win the East. Their first step is to win their first game. But firstly, they need to face a Sin City Samurai squad that has won 6 of their last 7 and have become one of the hottest teams in this SFL franchise. Welcome in, everybody, to David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium here in Carolina as the Skyhawks play the Sin City Samurai. I am Brett Sahlberg alongside John Campbell, who's making his SFL debut in the booth along with me. John, this is a big win, must win for Sin City, but have to win for Carolina.
You've got that right, Brett. Thank you very much for having me here tonight. And this is an incredible situation if you're Carolina. Like you said, they can win out and they control their destiny, can still squeeze into that 12th seed of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Sin City, who has won 3 in a row, and like you said, 6 out of 7, they are eyeing the top spot of their division with Vancouver going down earlier this week. Both of these teams can set themselves up for the playoffs well, starting with a win tonight.
It'll be Carolina with the first possession of this contest as away we go here at David A. Richardson Memorial as the return up to the 25 and gets around the 29-yard line. The returner Nolan Pierce, who has been ever effective in his short career with the Skyhawks. And this is where we're going to see quarterback legend Brian Dynasty out this season. And John, it has not been one to remember this season for Dynasty.
It's been ups and downs, mostly downs this year for Dynasty, unfortunately. But he still has a chance to, with this game, end the season on a strong note and look forward to a bright future with these Skyhawks.
And then Carolina needs to be on a strong start as Riley Quintero, their main halfback, nets 5 yards. And we'll quickly go over the Carolina Skyhawks roster. We talked about Brian Dynasty, the quarterback, and the running back, Riley Quintero. Other running backs are Ike McBride and Hattori Hanzo. 4 receivers in Nolan Pierce, Chase Earl, Adam Banks, and Chris Curtis, who is on milestone watch here tonight. Tight ends Tony Zoma and Gibson Rickenbacher man the field as well, as that run goes for no yardage. As I quickly go through the offensive line, Brookie Burr, Kate Palmer, Ricky Rigatoni, and Chris Cross. Big 3rd and 5 early on coming up for Carolina.
And like you said, Chris Curtis on a major highlight watch. We could see him cross to the top 5 all time for receiving yards tonight.
Roll out left for Dynasty, looking left and finds his man in Chris Curtis. And that is the man we have talked about. And with that catch, he has crossed the barrier and has gone past Boo Chisholm for 5th all-time in receiving yards.
5th all-time in receiving yards, and could potentially also break the 16,000-yard mark tonight. So that is the first of many highlights we're looking for Curtis tonight.
They give him 17 on that rollout pass, and he's going to net himself even closer. Just another 10 yards to go to reach that marker. Now 1st and 10. Back to the 3 receiver set. 2 on the right side with the halfback. That is going to be McBride on the run. Stretch to the left side. Sin City does a decent job to get only 3 yards from McBride. Let's quickly talk about this Sin City defense. Defensive line consisting of Gary Burney, Mike All, and Big Snacks. Linebacking core of Mark Gronick, Jay Mart, Zach Benjamin, and Gary Clem. Cornerbacks Evan Lacey, Terrence Pearson, and Joshua Durr, with safeties Kanye Rockefeller and King Jamal. Split backs on 2nd and 7. They motion Curtis over to the left side to even out the playing field. And it will be a toss play to Quintero going right, and it will be stuffed by the defense. Jay Mart in on the stop. It comes to a 3rd and 3.
Still a strong run there by Quintero, and this is what the Skyhawks have found success with when they get it out to Curtis in the air and then Quintero on the ground. And that up and down is where they find success in the 20s when they have it.
15th ranked rush offense at 100 yards per game is that Skyhawk offense. They want to establish things with the run, and right now they're trying to do both. Handoff on 3rd and 3. McBride passes the 1st and 2nd level and will get the 1st down, and it will continue to move the chains for this Carolina drive.
And so far, it's been a lot of attacks on the ground, besides that one great pass to Curtis earlier. You want to wonder if you're going to get to see Pierce, Earl, and Banks are getting in the mix as well now in this first drive.
I wouldn't bet too much on the farm with the pass game. Dynasty dead last in the league in pass attempts, just 196, about 80 passes below the median. Handoff, this time to Quintero, tries to get past his offensive lineman, but can't, and that's going to net a generous gain of 1 yard. That's going to be Lacey with the tackle.
Stretching that out a little bit, combination of Lacey and Bernie on that tackle to meet the running back at the line, and that's what happens when your offense gets too one-dimensional.
7-step drop for Dynasty, looking for his main man out there, Adam Banks, and maybe just throws it a little bit too far. Maybe the receiver wasn't on the right place. Now sets up a 3rd and 9.
Just past the outstretched hands there, and it looks like he had some space on the coverage, but couldn't quite come down with it after a target.
And now this sets up a 3rd and 9, and they're going to bring out 4 receivers. This screams pass if you're the Sin City defense. Motion in the play. It's going to be Chase Earl heading on over to the right side. Dynasty 5-step drop, looking left, finds his man. It's Nolan Pierce. He's going to get the catch, only his 5th reception of the season, but it's a big one for another 1st down for Carolina.
Pierce has mostly been a special teams player down, not only with the Skyhawks, but also doing yeoman's work on special teams in the SFL this season. But that is a huge first catch for Pierce in this game.
The 1st overall pick in the last SFL draft has really made himself an impact early on. The 2-season stud over in Carolina. There will be a handoff on the bunch formation. McBride getting stuffed around with a bunch of white jerseys, manages to get a yard, but Zach Benjamin says, welcome to the show.
Well, and that Benjamin-led defense was showing pressure all the way there with both nickelbacks coming down and really opening up that space for the linebackers to get in at the line.
Carolina liking their 3 receiver sets. It'll be a handoff this time to Quintero. Gets stuffed on the line again, and again it's going to be Benjamin with the stuff. 3rd and 9 coming up.
Once again, Benjamin is showing his team how it's done, leading by example on the field there, stuffing those Skyhawks running backs any chance he gets.
51 tackles heading into this contest. Already has about 2 or 3 tonight. Rollout left for Dynasty, looking down middle of the field, looking for Chase Earl, but can't quite manage to get his mitts on the football. Falls incomplete and will set up a field goal opportunity for Malone Brown.
Just extraordinary inside coverage by the Mike linebacker, Jay Mart, there to get his hands in for some physical coverage in the middle of the field without drawing any flags.
And Mart's going to be one of those guys that you don't suspect to get interceptions, but he's already got 3 this season as the kick is up and it veers left and it will sail through, and Carolina gets the first points on the board. 3-0 is your score halfway through this 1st quarter.
And that's a not terrible drive for the Skyhawks to start this game. 56 yards down the field, you got a little bit of running game going, a little bit of pass attack going, and they were able to set the tone here at home. The question is, what are the Samurai going to do with the ball now against this admittedly somewhat dangerous Skyhawks pass defense?
Yeah, the pass defense is a dangerous part of Carolina's game. 10th in the league with 215 yards per game. But I counter you with this, John. Sin City has become road warriors this season. They are 4-1 on the road. So they have performed better away from home. So let's see what Scar Patterson and company bring to the table on their first drive, which is going to be an empty 5-receiver set. 5-step drop for Patterson. Throwing on the back of his foot and finds Elliot Pope Jr. on the right side. Talk about making a first play impact in this game from the Sin City offense. That is one for the highlight reels.
Whew, and Elliot Pope Jr. doing what he does best. He is number 3 in the league right now with 21 yards a catch on average, and that's how he does it. He gets outside the numbers, finds the matchup that he likes, and he can go up for that ball.
27 yards is the official catch from our statisticians Ike McBride and Takeda Yuki tonight. Another empty 5-receiver set on first down. Patterson with a 5-step drop, fumbles the football on the sack. It gets recovered by his lineman. They will lose 10 yards off the fumble, but you've got to count your blessings if you're Sin City.
That is some heads-up play by the Samurai line there. Unfortunately, the sack gets through, but for the center to turn around and fall down on that ball and not lose the whole drive, that offensive line coach is going to get a toast tonight.
Andy Eby with the wherewithal to get that recovery and keep it in Sin City football possession, and they're going to stick with this 5-receiver set. Patterson back to throw on 2nd and 20, and it's no time left. Phil Hall with the big sack makes it 3rd and 24.
Scar going for the pump fake there, trying to draw off the secondary of the defense, not seeing the big Hall right in front of him, just charging through the middle of that line again for a huge drop.
First sack of the season from Hall and his 92nd of his career, but Sin City, not deterred from this, continues with the 5-receiver set. Al Dillapre Sr. motions from left to right. And there's going to be a quarterback draw from Patterson, and that was maybe just conceding the drive, seeing the 2 negative plays, setting up a 3rd and very long, maybe trying to get some luck, but it does not prevail, and they're going to be forced to punt this football away.
And it's surprising that they didn't try to air it out to Dillapre there. It looked like after the motion there was some favorable coverage on him, but Patterson, just like you said, kind of said, I'm willing to let it go here, just takes the draw and slides down and concedes that drive. Carolina now with a chance to get scores on back-to-back drives with not too terrible field position here.
John Jett with the punt, Nolan Pierce with the 1-yard return up to the 39-yard line, and back comes Carolina offensively. And this is an opportunity that they can get themselves a 2-score lead if they can march down the field. 3-receiver set, and it will be a handoff to Quintero off the left side. Spins off one and doesn't get past the second. Jamal pushes him down, but not enough to get the first down. It'll be 8 yards, 2nd and 2.
Hey, you talk to any of the running backs coaches out here in the league, and they're going to tell you they want 4, maybe 5 yards out of a run. You're going to get 8 on first down. You're taking that every single time. Riley Quintero with that beautiful spin move to push forward for that extra little bit of gain.
It will be Jacks formation on 2nd and 2 with the lone receiver on the left side. Handoff to McBride, and the defensive line stuffs it and forces McBride back a couple yards.
Even with the extra blockers up on the line in that Jacks style formation, you were still able to just get right on the right side of that line, cut right through, and attack McBride at the line.
3rd down with 3 receivers and 1 tight end. They're going to move Adam Banks over to the left side. Five-step drop from Dynasty, sees the pressure and runs it out and has plenty of space on the left side. He fumbles the football and is recovered by King Jamal, and it will be Sin City football.
Ooh, I was about to praise Dynasty for reading the field perfectly, seeing that gap and cutting up, but the spin just ends up being a little too much, and Jamal is there to scoop up the ball and take that back for the Samurai. What was a huge opportunity for the Skyhawks is immediately turned over right at midfield.
Terrence Pearson jars the ball loose from Dynasty, and King Jamal recovers it. Now Sin City near midfield to start their second drive. And it will be back to the 5-receiver set. They are loving this. Pass caught from Dillapre, short side, has space on the left, gets past the 40, past the 30, and will get netted down at around the 27-yard line. Great catch and run from Al Dillapre Sr.
And that's why Dillapre Sr. has those league-leading numbers that he's got. Look at the spatial awareness to dodge the first tackle, stay in bounds, get inside towards the hashes, and push forward for a huge gain. That is what you love out of your ace receiver there.
Dillapre was the main deep threat in their last game last week, and now he's going to be on the short side, but protection is starting to become a problem as the second sack of the game is again going Carolina's side. That's going to be Danny Stinson with the sack.
Danny Stinson cutting through here. Just an absolutely beautiful attack from the inside linebacking position there. He can get you in coverage, and he can get you behind the line, which we just saw. Incredible work by that Skyhawks defense.
5-yard sack for Stinson, his 4th of the season so far. And Sin City, loving this 5-receiver set, will continue going that way, but the protection is starting to wane as the pass is just jarred loose before it gets off his hands. It's going to be called incomplete, 3rd and 15.
There are guys right there behind the line of scrimmage, and free safety Skippy Curtis almost comes away with a pick, but can't quite get that bobbling ball under control.
Carolina bringing all the pressure in this first quarter, making sure Patterson has minimal time in the pocket. As Sin City shifts Talababi over the right side. Another pass will be deflected and incomplete. This Carolina secondary may not have a lot of interceptions to their name this season, but they have got a lot of deflections so far in this contest. 4th down.
That's the cornerback, Jack, there with the first official pass defended of the night for the Skyhawks. But they've got picks all over the field. Even though not one guy has a ton of them, they've got linebackers with picks, cornerback with picks, safeties with picks. And this is what we were saying. This Skyhawks pass defense is very legitimate to contend with.
And the kick falls short from Charles Franz, a 49-yarder. And we'll see on the replay here, that's going to be inches short. And Franz has hit from 49 before, and now it falls short, and Carolina gets away from that turnover with 0 points against them. That is a sigh of relief at David A. Memorial.
This ball has not moved more than 20 yards in either direction in about 5 minutes.
And now Carolina again back with the opportunity, going bunch formation on 1st down. Handoff to Quintero, looking to stretch out right side, and does. Past the 1st, past the 2nd, but not past the 3rd. Will get 5 yards, 2nd and 5.
When Quintero gets moving, you can't stop him one-on-one, and he just showed it there. Shedding tackle after tackle. It took 3 guys to finally get him on the ground.
And now we'll go with a heavy eye set for 2nd and 5. They've got Gibson Rickenbacker on that far right side. Hanzo the fullback, and it looks to be back to McBride as the running back, and it will be McBride. She tries to find space on that right side, doesn't get much, but the referees will give her 2 yards, sets up a 3rd and 3.
Giving up a couple of yards there. Favorable spot by the refs. 3 yards. We're probably going to end up seeing Quintero maybe go back to McBride again, but I'd be surprised to see the Skyhawks do anything but keep it on the ground here.
Already their 6th 3rd down of this contest. The Skyhawk offense really milking this clock. They're going to shift Hanzo up to the left side, which Quintero will try to follow, but the defense stands tall for Sin City. That is a big tackle from Mark Ronick to force him to punt to end this quarter. It has been a wild one early on in terms of turnovers and big plays, but the score line stays small. 3-0 Carolina to end the first quarter. We're going to be right back in just a few moments. Three nothing your score line here. Brett Solberg alongside John Campbell here in the booth. Ike McBride and Takeda Yuki over in stats. And of course, you can't forget about Commissioner Extraordinaire Cameron Irvine touching those buttons for us as the punt is away from Carolina. It will be returned by Robert Johnson and get nowhere past the 28-yard line. And first quarter so far from Sin City has been all empty formations, all 5 receiver sets. Do you see that changing?
I mean, if I'm attacking the Skyhawks defense, I'm trying to get them out of their pass coverage. They've been extraordinary reading these Sin City receivers, but it looks like the Samurai offensive coordinator wants to get them going in the air.
It'll be a quick step drop from Patterson, looking middle, finds Talon Steele right at the first down marker, and he will move the chains early on, and that might be what Sin City needs to do. Keep it short, keep it within 10 yards.
And this is how you need to beat these Skyhawks. You have to beat them, find the holes in the zones, or cut underneath these cornerbacks and safeties as they're running down the field. These little 10-yard gains, these needle routes, long, short routes, are exactly how the Samurai are going to beat the pass defense of Carolina.
Another quick step drop, but time is running out, and again, 3rd sack of this contest, and again, this Carolina defense, Danny Stinson with the 2nd sack of the game, is making it tough for Patterson to stay in the pocket.
And that's what they'll do. They will eat up your receivers and tight ends in coverage, make you hold on to the ball for longer than you can. Like you said, they don't have a lot of picks on the year, but they have a great yardage and passing yards defense, and that's how they get it done.
And again, Sin City just sticking to the 5 receiver set. We have not seen anything outside of this through the first 11 minutes of this game from the Samurai. Talon Steele's going to shift on over to the left to really overload that side. Another 5-step drop, quick throw. This time it's picked off. Mike Ryan with the big interception, and the secondary not willing to play idle. They're going to get involved in the action as well.
Once again, another drive ends between the 40s. These teams are absolutely loving this middle of the field tonight. Defenses are feasting once the offenses are right in that mid zone.
And the big important thing here, John, is that Carolina will start this drive on enemy territory at the Sin City 42, and they've been doing their thing in this game. It hasn't been many yards, but they've controlled the tempo of this contest. Handoff, this time to Quintero, up the middle, will try to shut off one tackler, but a second gets to him, but another 5 yards gained from the wide receiver convert, who's become probably one of the better halfbacks in this league.
Well, and certainly one of the brightest spots on this Skyhawks offense. He has been having a very solid season, like you said, especially for a convert, someone who did not play his first seasons of ball at the halfback position.
McBride trying to get up the middle as well, and Sin City does a better job. And once again, John, we see Carolina in a 3rd and 3, and it's been relative success for them so far on third downs, 3 of 6 to start off this contest.
And no third down has been as important as this one so far for Carolina. They need to convert here, and they need to find a way to get some points on the board after another great stand by their defense.
Yeah, this is just outside Malone Brown range, so they need to get themselves moving forward. Handoff to Quintero, sheds off the first tackler and gets to the first down marker with a couple extra yards. Move the chains, says Wiley Quintero.
And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Quintero right up the middle once again has been getting through that first hit and pushing forward for more than 4 yards of carry.
They're going back to this I spread formation. Handoff this time to Ike McBride. There is a penalty flag out on the field. This could be taken back. And they will call it a clipping, and that's a 15-yard pushback. And all that work is lost if they get pushed back right to the 44.
And you hate to see that, especially as we were singing the praises of these linemen before. You can't be getting that shovey in the back. Just not a great read by the guard there.
Chris Cross with the infraction. Maybe didn't get enough applesauce in his diet tonight, but it's not going to work out for him.
He may have missed the bus, as it were.
He may have missed the entire applesauce bus. Will be a snap off for Dynasty, looking down middle, finds his man and will get most of the yardage back from a Nolan Pierce catch, and will make it 2nd and 4.
Huge catch again for that core special teamer. Nolan Pierce is making his name heard out on offense today.
4 catches coming into this game, already has 2 big ones so far tonight, and now a 2nd and very manageable here for Carolina, as they go with a heavy I set once again. There will be a handoff. McBride will shed off one tackler, but a swarm of white jerseys led by Joshua Durr pushes her back 2 yards and sets up a 3rd and 5.
And when you are consistently met behind the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter how strong you are as a runner. It is hard to get going with momentum when a defense is meeting you that early.
Strong I formation. Dynasty will go back to throw here, and will a swarm of white jerseys tries to get to him, but he still manages to cross that first down line. But no, they're going to call 4th and inches, and rightfully so. Harish Prasad throwing the flag for a challenge.
And that's absolutely right. I'm sure that on the sideline there, Prasad was having a bit of a heart attack watching Dynasty go again for a scramble and spin, but this time he wisely slides before contact, and I agree, that's definitely past the line.
Yeah, and this might be an instance of calling that back arm more than anything, but you have to call the football first, which he clearly crossed the first down marker. Offense coordinator Harish Prasad just said, you know what, Mojo, I'll throw the flag for you. And he decides that it was the right call. It will be overturned. It will be a Skyhawk first down. This continues to move the chains, and more importantly, we talk about time possession all through the season here, John, and Carolina's dominating it through the first 14 minutes.
And Brett, you've got that right. And an underrated piece of that is holding on to that timeout. You get a quick breather, you get to level set your offense for a second, and you still hold on to all 3 of your timeouts as you're approaching the end of this first half.
Another single back formation this time from Carolina. And they're going to shift Chris Curtis to overload that right side. At the 19. Will be a handoff opposite side to Quintero. Spin move past defender, sheds off a second, but can't get past the third. Looking touchdown, but will get stuffed right at the 5-yard line. Nonetheless, first and goal for Carolina.
And he may have even barreled forward a little bit down to the 4-yard line. That is exceptional running by Quintero. The spin, the step, the push here. Just incredible physical work by the Skyhawk running back.
And you said it, John, right to the 4-yard line. They're going to mark it for this first and goal. And we might see some more heavy looks from Carolina. They like to do this in goal-to-go situations. They're going to go I-Pro, and they get stuffed immediately. As much as Quintero has been successful, Ike McBride has not seen that same success. That's a loss of 1.
Well, and that was a heavy, heavy look by the Samurai defense with J. Mart and Mark Gronick just ready to attack right in the middle where McBride was trying to run.
And another heavy defensive formation from Sin City. They bring the house, but Quintero is ready for it on the stretch. Gets to the end zone with relative ease. Puts 6 on the board for Carolina.
Running to his left, spinning out behind an excellent block by the tight end Gibson Rickenbacker there. That touchdown does not happen without team blocking across the entire Carolina line of scrimmage.
And Sin City was guessing middle. And Carolina said, you know what, we'll stretch that baby out, and we're going to get Quintero his rushing touchdown, something that we saw a few seasons ago. Remember, he was at one point the league leader at the end of season 23, if I'm not mistaken, in rushing touchdowns. He's got his 8th this season, and it gets Carolina further away from Sin City. 10-0 is your scoreline halfway through the second.
And this is exactly the kind of game that the Skyhawks want to be playing. They are letting Sin City just air it out constantly to their coverage linebackers and cornerbacks, holding this offense, which has been explosive all season, especially recently, to 0 points now halfway through the second. And here on the special teams play, gang tackling and not letting them cross the 20. Just great work by the Carolina defense on both defense and special teams.
Yeah, and take a note here, John. Sin City is the second best scoring team in the league when they're away from home. They average more than 27 points per game away from home, and right now, 15 minutes in this contest, they have no points and only 43 yards to their name. Huge credit to the Carolina defense, but Sin City need to wake up proverbially, as Carolina might run away with this if it continues that way. Patterson back to throw on first down, finds Dillapre on the short side, will net 4 yards, and will set up a 2nd and 6.
And so far to this point, through 15 minutes of this contest, Sin City has run it 1 time. Now we see an eye look out of them. We might finally see some rushing attack, but nope, it's another pass.
It's another pass from Patterson, looking short, and will find Talon Steele over on the left hash marks, and they will give Sin City the first down. And very quickly, we haven't mentioned anybody from the Carolina defense, so let's quickly get this through here, John. Defensive line consists of L.J. Hobbs, May Carter, Phil Hall, and Christopher Colon. Linebackers Danny Stinson, Mojo McLean, Shravan Prasad. Cornerbacks Tristan Hatley, T.D. Jack, and Davidson Joseph. Safety Skippy Curtis, Mike Ryan, and Rochelle Colston. 5 receivers back for Sin City on this first down. Manages to get some more time and almost gets an interception from Mojo McLean on that middle throw, but it falls incomplete.
Well, and the edge rusher Hobbs was breathing right down Patterson's neck as well. So if it wasn't McLean, it was going to be Hobbs. Samurai are lucky to walk away with an incompletion there.
Yeah, and this offensive line from Sin City definitely needs to get better protection for Patterson so he can get more time. Another 3-step drop from Patterson. Another deflection from Carolina secondary. T.D. Jack again getting her mitts on the football and the deflection.
Looking sort of like that hybrid linebacker. She's stepping down out of that corner and covering the middle of the field physically and acrobatically.
And you just look at her build. She is an undersized linebacker at 6'4", 200 pounds. 3rd and 10 coming up. They're going to shift Talon Steele over to the left side. Once again, overloading it. Carolina looking to play zone. Another 5-step drop from Patterson. Runs out of time again. This time, Christopher Cologne gets into the sack party.
First time we're calling Cologne's name tonight, and perfect time for it. Swims past the center, just hooks Patterson around the waist, and dunks him like an Oreo.
Sack number 101 of Christopher Cologne's career. 6th all-time in sacks, still a little ways away from William Davidson at 5th. Still needs to get that 119.5 mark, but that's a big one for Carolina as they're going to make Sin City punt this away again. And this one's a decent one. Will be returned by Nolan Pierce at the 30. We'll get past the 40, and we'll get a couple extra yards. So Carolina's going to start their drive at the 42 as a man is down for Carolina. And that's looking to be one of the reserve players for the Skyhawks, Al Harris, the reserve cornerback, walking to the sidelines. Looks like he's going to be okay. Maybe took a little bit of a banger.
Good to see him get up on his own power there. Thankfully, Hatley, Jack, and Joseph are pretty strong in that secondary unit, but you wonder what that's going to mean for their special teams play.
Carolina wearing red may mean that they're looking for blood in this contest against Sin City. Both have split the first 2 matchups all time as Quintero gets another good run out of him. Another 8 yards. It feels like rinse and repeat on these first down runs from Quintero.
Well, and you said it, they didn't just split these first contests between these 2 teams. The home team has won both of them. And Carolina's looking to take control of their home stadium here and this game in effect.
Last game was week 14 in season 24 where Carolina reigned supreme, 31-24. And they're looking to do the same thing here tonight. Handoff to McBride, and again, she gets pushed back a yard. And they're going to net 0 on that instead. So it's going to be another 3rd down, another 3rd and short for the Skyhawks.
It's a rough situation. McBride's not even quite getting to that half-yard per carry mark, whereas Quintero's a little bit over 5. But you can't run Riley too much. They need to keep some strength in the tank as this game goes on.
That'll be carry number 13 for Quintero as he pushes through the dog pile of red and white jerseys, and we'll get another 1st down for Carolina as they bunch up the 1st downs. It continues going for them. They're 8th in this contest. It'll be another 3-receiver setup for this 1st down. It will be another handoff. This time McBride does get past the 1st level, but will only net herself a yard. Connie Rockefeller with the stop. 2nd and 9 as we hit the 2-minute warning, John. It has been a fast contest, but it's been all Carolina here, surprisingly enough. If you're just tuning now, 10-0 is your score. 2 minutes left to go in the half.
The tale of 2 offenses. Brian Dynasty of Carolina only attempting 5 passes so far, whereas Patterson's already at 10. Carolina's been running this ball and controlling the clock all first half.
Another run, and it's fumbled down, and it's another, again, recovered by King Jamal, and the turnovers have cost Carolina roughly another 7 to 10 points to the scoreline, and has kept Sin City in this.
King Jamal is hungry for that ball on the ground. 2nd fumble recovery tonight already. And, we don't see a lot of fumbles in the SFL. These guys are usually pretty good at keeping the ball in their hands, but that strong safety of Sin City is ready for it as soon as the ball's on the turf.
Rockefeller with the jarring of the ball loose, and again, King Jamal, right guy in the right place. Patterson back to throw on 1st down, finds Dillapre on the short, will get past the 1st tackler, and will get the 1st down. Drags himself through, drags the ball forward, and gets Sin City some positive yardage, which they have not seen a lot of in this 1st half.
Once again, we are still seeing Dillapre's foot control on highlight here, keeping himself in bounds off of that 1st tackle. trying to fight for those extra yards on the second one. Dillapre knows his body so well that there is no question when the ball's in his hands, he's getting those yards. He's not going to get forced out of bounds until you pick him up and put him out of bounds.
Dillapre was, again, like I said, one of the stars in the Queen City game and had that game-winning touchdown with less than 30 seconds left to go. They're going to need some more magic out of him, as well as Talon Steele. Talababi in motion. Patterson back to throw, looking short, trying to find Steele. Right decision, maybe arced it a little bit too low, and it falls incomplete.
Just slightly off target, and once again, Skippy Curtis, the free safety for Carolina, in a position to come down with the pick and can't quite get his hands in the right place, and instead the ball hits the turf.
Yeah, and it's really making it difficult for Patterson, who's 6th in the league in completion percentage, really trying to find his targets. He's only 6 of 12 in this contest so far with the 1 interception. Second down, they're going to bring 5 receivers. Patterson back to throw again and again. The offensive line doesn't have an answer for Phil Hall as he gets his 2nd sack of this contest. Make that sack number 5 in this first half for Carolina.
And what's incredible here is, look at this, he spins to the outside, cuts on the outside of that guard, coming in almost like an edge rusher where you're not expecting that big body to come from. 3 tackles, 2 sacks for Hall already. Just great work by this DT.
Breezes by Adam Chance had no chance to keep Phil Hall intact. Patterson back to throw on this 3rd and long and can't quite meet his target. And again, the secondary from Carolina has really made things difficult for Patterson. 4th and 16.
I couldn't see the number there, but I think the ball doinks off of Danny Stinson's helmet before getting back to TD Jack, who's just blanketing the receiver. No chance of making that bobbled catch there.
And it's another punt from John Jett as he will get this one away and will try to pin this one deep. See, yeah, not quite. Sin City trying to recover that ball at the 1, can't quite get to it. Now Carolina, with 1 minute and 4 left to go, start themselves at the 20-yard line. They could either be aggressive, try to get some points, or they could settle with the 10-0 lead.
With a minute to go here, you try to take a couple shots down the field. Try your luck, see what happens, but don't get too crazy. Don't give Sin City the ball here. That's what's most important for Carolina.
You don't want to go too crazy on a quarterback in Bryant Dynasty who is 22nd in the league in completion percentage at 51% even. It will be a handoff to Quintero right side. Shuts off the first tackler, hurling over a second, but a gang tackle from 2 Sin City defenders stops him, but still gets 6 yards.
Staying on his feet there, and yep, looks like Carolina's going to be content to let this half go. No timeouts are being called here. They're not rushing to the line. They're happy with this 10-point lead, and frankly, I would be too.
Already 70 yards unofficially for Riley Quintero on 14 carries. Definitely has been the star of this first half. It will be a pass on 2nd down, looking short, finds his target in Adam Banks, who will go out of bounds with 26 seconds left, but doesn't get the first down.
And you know Banks is kind of slapping his helmet from that dropped pass earlier, so he's going to feel pretty happy with that grab there, even though it's not a huge gain.
And I think Carolina's going to be okay with this. They go I-Pro on 3rd and 2. They are going to move Curtis over to left. Will be a handoff to Quintero, trying to get past the bevy of defenders, but gets stuffed by Mark Gronick. Timeout called by Sin City to stop the clock and see if they can get some good field position.
And, you know, maybe not even field position. They could get a good special teams play here of their own. Pope Jr. is often back there doing returns, and we could see some good work here. Maybe a nice punt return to score.
And Elio Pope Jr. did have great special teams work, but it will be fair caught, and this time it's from Robert Johnson, who will stop the ball at the 38-yard line with 15 ticks left in the first half.
15 seconds to go, and Scar Patterson's propensity for airing it out, do not be surprised if you see something like an all-go here with Dillapre, Pope, and Hendricks just bombing it down the field as far as they can go.
We're going to go a heavy I on this 1st and 10. This might go Logan Lee's way, which it will, but he gets stuffed right at the line, and that could be the last play of this first half, and it looks to be. John Campbell, 10-0 score here in Carolina after the first half. The Skyhawks have completely dominated this field, not only in possession, in terms of yards as well. It has been a story for sure as they stop the clock at 1 second here, so we're going to see one more playoff.
Sin City calling this last second timeout, going to try to really bomb it out to end the half and lining up in this Hail Mary formation.
I was already ready for the halftime report, but Sin City says, nah, and they're going to hail this one wild up to the right side, and it falls nowhere near a receiver, and that is going to be your first half, John. 10-0 Carolina in a have-to-win situation. It has been, I would say, a 10 out of 10 performance from Carolina in this first half. Let's break it down here, John.
Absolutely. The Skyhawks came to play in every phase of the game, whether it was the exceptional running of Quintero on offense, the incredible defensive performance, especially by that front group led by Phil Hall, or even the special teams play on the kick return units. Carolina has been just playing an excellent game in all three phases, top to bottom, but I gotta say the standout has definitely been Quintero.
Yeah, and Quintero has been that guy that if you need yards, he's going to give it to you. Lots of 5, 6, 7-yard runs, as long as the 15 so far. Has the lone touchdown in this contest. Has definitely been a profile. If he continues this way, Carolina's going to cruise to a win, and a much-needed win as well, as we enter the second half here in David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. 10-0 is your score line here for the Carolina Skyhawks. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dag's Droneworks. Aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com as you see a nice little skyline shot of Raleigh. And we'll get this second half started with a 10-0 score line, and Sin City will get the football to start things off. So let's see if they have any first half adjustments as away we go here. Malone Brown kicks it off to start this second half. Robert Johnson kneels this baby down, and it will be at the 20-yard line. Sin City will start this ball off. John, it was a lot of empty 5-receiver sets. Do you see something finally changing here?
It's hard to break what's been working for you all season, especially on this hot streak, as we see Patterson come out in this 5 wide to start. But maybe you need to get Logan Lee involved a little bit more here in the second half.
And Logan Lee has struggled this season, but has started to come alive a little bit more over the last couple weeks. But they're going to go pass again on this first down. Whereas, again, he's finding trouble getting around the pocket, but gets space over on the right side to scramble and will net himself 14 yards to start things off. Scar Patterson better be ready for more of those tonight.
Hall was right there again, breaking containment lines, spinning between the center and the guard, but this time Patterson saw it coming and broke out to the near side of the field and away from the blitzing defensive tackle.
And Patterson, he is capable of running that football as well. He's done it plenty of times over his long career, but hasn't done so much in the Sin City era so far, as he's had better protection than this, more better than the 5 sacks that he's already suffered in this game. Patterson back to throw, quick jump, finds his target. That looks to be Kenny Hendricks with the catch that will net 7 yards, and will make it a 2nd and 3.
Staying again in that 5 wide look, and the Skyhawks are having their way with it, whether it's pressed up on man or dropping back into zone, giving some space. Now we're seeing some variety out of the Sin City offense. Handoff
to Robert Johnson, his first carry, trying to bruise through forward, and will get close to the first down marker. Doesn't get any closer than 1 yard to it, and now Sin City has the 3rd and short.
They got to force the Skyhawks into their base package, into a blitz nickel package, into something other than this base pass coverage they've been able to sit in all night.
Got their heavy set going along. They've got both Bobby and Steele opposite sides of the line. Handoff to Lee, and he will get the first down. Just enough space past the left gap, and will get himself a yard, and Sin City to move the chains. And there's Mojo McLean. This time he says, Harish, I'll take care of the honors. Let me do the challenge. Second challenge of the game for Carolina.
And the first one worked out for him again on one of these close yardage spotting situations. So Carolina sees something that they like here, and they think they can overturn this ball, but I'm not so sure. He looks like he's right on the line, and the refs might not have enough to overturn.
And it's all about where this football is placed. They could give Lee forward progress on that 3rd and 1, but it all depends on what the decision is going to be. It's going to be overturned again. But where is this position going to be? They're going to mark it short of the first down marker.
Bringing them all the way back there. If I am the Carolina front office, I'm their owners, I'm giving that video review guy, whoever's making that call on the sidelines, give that guy a raise. Brilliant call. Look how close the line of scrimmage in the first down line.
4th down in a paper clip, and Sin City still decides to punt it because it was in their own territory. It's not a bad decision. Returned by Nolan Pierce, who will get a modest 2-yard return, and Carolina will start things off at the 29-yard line in this second half. And John, let's talk about Carolina's offense, which has been possession time, possession time, possession time. They haven't cared about the score. They've cared about possession.
Well, that's exactly right. And they also haven't cared too much about the potentially record-breaking night for their receivers. They've been happy to give it to Quintero and McBride over and over again, but they're starting out on the open sets like they've been seeing on the other side.
And it's not going to happen for Quintero, as that was an empty set and an easy catch from Nolan Pierce. Runs back past the first down marker and out of bounds.
He's looking to match his season total of receptions tonight alone.
And he's already at 3 receptions. He had 4 coming in. This has been, as the kids would say, an explosive game for him.
As my friend DJ Kogan would say, the explosivity of this receiver is off the charts.
Is that even a word in the dictionary? I'll have to check that out. 1st and 10. They're going to shift Curtis over to the right slot side. It will be a handoff to Quintero, the first half man, who's going to start off the second half hot past the 40, and he will get stopped at the 40 instead. But another big run from Quintero moves the chains for Carolina.
A big run from the big back, and that is what you need to keep this momentum rolling.
And let's give credit to Gary Burney coming in from the line, stopping Quintero from possibly busting out a 20-yard run, limiting him to a 15 on the run. And it'll set up another first down, and again, Carolina in enemy territory. Be a handoff this time to McBride. Shuts off the first, but can't quite get past the second. It's going to be Eric Hicks with the final stop, who only net 1 yard.
Keeps the legs churning, though, gets up to a little 3-yard gain, and that's the kind of thing that you need to build on if you're Ike McBride. Don't let the rough first half get to you. Keep your legs pumping and have a strong second half.
Yeah, got to forget about that first half woes if you're Ike McBride. She's trying to get her work in. Quintero's doing the brunt of it. Handoff this time to Quintero, who will get stuffed down the middle. Benjamin with another tackle to his name will set up a 3rd down and medium.
Benjamin, who had a really strong first defensive drive, has been a little bit quiet for the rest of that half. Maybe this is going to get that spark rolling in the second half here for the Samurai D.
And this will be a big 3rd down stop if Sin City can get to it, but Carolina has had relative success on these 3rd downs, 6 of 10 so far in this contest. 7-step drop for Dynasty, looking right, finds his man, and Chris Curtis achieves a tackle off the right side as he showboats his way and gets the touchdown. 6 on the board for the Skyhawks.
Gets the touchdown, and if he didn't have it before, he certainly got it now. That is locked up into the top 5 all-time receptions for the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Curtis.
5th receiver to cross the 16,000-yard marker, and what a way to do it as well, getting a touchdown on the reception, inching ever so closer to that 100-yard mark, his 100 touchdown mark, his 95th of his career, will net Carolina a 17-point lead 4 minutes into this third quarter. Would you believe it? Carolina up 17-0 in the third quarter.
Hey, if you look at the Who You Got channel, I'm going to tell you, nobody in the league had this rolled onto their papers this week. Incredible game plan by the Skyhawks coaching staff through 2.5 so far.
Carolina's going to kick this baby away again, and Sin City needs to respond as this is touched back once again at the 20-yard line. John, let me talk to the chat real quick. Like this video. I'll say it again. Like this video. Please support our hardworking crew by smashing the like button, subscribing, and commenting on this video. It really helps the channel out. Turn notifications on so you never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. Thank you for your support of the Virtual Football Network and the SFL. And here's a little bit of a wrinkle on the Sin City offense. They're going to go shotgun with 5 receivers to give Patterson more space. Down to throw down the middle, trying to find Hendricks off that middle right side, and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Again, that blanketing coverage from the corners in the Skyhawk secondary. They have just been swarming all over these receivers and tight ends all night.
They're going to go back to under the center for Scar Patterson. They did give him extra time on that shotgun, but sometimes those shotgun formations can really pay. 5-step drop for Patterson. Trying to look middle again. And again, these Carolina defenders getting their hands up on the football, making Patterson's day very difficult. Mojo McClain with the deflection.
Mojo McClain looking like power forward in virtual basketball out here, just reaching the arm straight into the sky, not letting the pass move past 5 yards down the field.
Looking like a modern-day Dennis Rodman with the swat. 3rd down throw is caught from Elliott Pope Jr. Will move the chains from Sin City, and Pope has really been the guy so far for the Sin City pass game.
And the Skyhawk secondary is clearly focusing in on Dillapre, which has let Pope have a bit more extra space. And here he just finds that hole in the zone and is able to come down with the ball and fall forward for a much-needed 1st down.
Yeah, you look at it from a statistical standpoint. Dillapre coming into this game 1,100 yards. Talon Steele 700 yards. Elliott Pope Jr. just 253, and he gets his 2nd catch of the contest and another 10-plus yard gain as Talon Steele will move on over to overload that left side of the field. Patterson sets back to throw, has a decent pocket, looks downfield, finds Dillapre off that left side, and he gets himself involved in this second half, and Sin City's starting to move it.
Just an excellent levels concept here by the Sin City offense. They had a receiver on the drag route, they had a receiver on a deep in, and a receiver on a post. And Dillapre just finds that space in the middle with the secondary and the linebackers being pulled in every other direction.
That's his 75th reception of the season as this short pass goes to Talon Steele, who's essentially your 2nd option at receiver. He finally gets himself involved in this contest in the second half. His 4th catch will net 5.
Both of these tight ends, Steele and Bobby, are known as downfield tight ends. It's not like they've got a big back blocking core, right? So when they do hand the ball off like they do it here, the Skyhawks defense is there to eat.
First mention of the contest of Hubba Kimbrell as he gets himself a 2-yard gain and making it a 3rd down and 3 for Sin City, setting back up on an I-Pro. This could be another handoff, maybe this time to Robert Johnson, which it will be, and gets stuffed right away. Check that, that's Logan Lee with the run, and this time LJ Hobbs getting in the vicinity to make it 4th down.
Hobbs says, all of my guys around me are getting sacks, getting these big TFLs. I want to be involved in this too, and just makes a beautiful move in on Lee and makes that run stop before it goes anywhere.
Sin City with their 6th punt of the contest. This one will be fair caught at the 19 by Pierce, and that's been the story of this contest. It has been lots of 3-and-outs for Sin City, and Carolina's just moving the football just a little bit better than Sin City right now.
Sin City did what they were doing well coming into this game, airing the ball downfield, and were clearly not ready for this strong secondary and coverage linebacking core.
3 receivers out on first down for Carolina. Toss play to Quintero, trying to get past the first tackler, but gets stuffed by the second. Will only net himself 3 yards. Only 3 yards, John, in a game where Riley Quintero has been absolutely explosive.
Only 3, and let's be real, that was about 3.5. That's the magic number right there, because if he does that 2 more times, I'm thinking the refs are going to give him the first.
Ready, set on second down. Handoff this time to McBride. Finds space down the middle, and she will net a first down for Carolina. And again, first down's the name of the game, and Carolina gets themselves their 11th.
And I think she must have had a little conversation there with Riley on the sidelines in the half, because that's what she was missing in the first. That little bit of elusiveness to get past that first tackle is what she's going to need to do consistently to get those first downs.
That run got her past a yard per carry, which is going to help her, as Dynasty has plenty of time to throw. Finds nobody, runs it down the field, decides to slide instead of spin. He's learned from the past mistake on that fumble and will keep possession for Carolina. First down.
3rd run of the game for Dynasty, and his smartest one for sure. No unnecessary dancing and spinning, no fancy footwork that's going to get you in trouble. See the gap, run through it, slide to the ground.
147 unofficially for rushing yards in this game from Carolina, and it's come from 3 main components. Handoff to Quintero off the stretch, will get a couple. They're going to give him 6 yards, gets pushed down. But like I said, this run game has really been the difference maker for Carolina in this contest tonight.
Absolutely booming hit from Rockefeller there, and Quintero is able to hold on to the ball, again, learning from those previous mistakes, because he knows that the game is in his hands right now.
Hanzo shifting to the weak side. It will be a handoff weak side to McBride, who gets stuffed again behind the line. And again, the first half woes coming in after that big run from McBride. Now sets up a 3rd and 6.
A good job to stay on her feet through the contact, not going down on the first hit like she was before, but still not quite making it back to that imagined blue line and losing a yard on that play.
3rd and 6 for Carolina. It will be a pass. Dynasty looking for options, looking down middle of the field, overthrows his man, looking for Curtis, and it was a little bit too far to the right. 4th down coming up for Carolina.
And well outside of field goal range at midfield with 6 to go. They're going to have to punt it here. And you know that the coaches there on the sideline are wishing for a little bit more. They need a bit of that magic they had going in the first half.
3rd punt of the game for Josh Bidwell. Will net this guy deep, and it will be fair caught at the 12-yard line. And Sin City, arguably their worst field position to start off this contest, and they need to get a scoring drive out of it.
They're going to have to get down the field, and frankly, they're going to have to do it pretty quick. Down 17 here, there's not a lot of time to mess around. They need to get something working ASAP.
And don't think this is an impossible task. We have seen just 24 hours ago this same score line in DC and LA, as this pass is caught by Hendricks from that 13 yards. That's how you get it done when you're deep in the field, like Sin City was. First down.
They're going to need to attack to Hendricks. They're going to need to attack to Dillapre. They're going to need to get these receivers the ball down the field, because when the Samurai win, they win when they get 30 points on the board. They've only got 1 victory this season with under 30, and that was that 14-8 win over Washington. So they're going to need to find a way to get that offense fired up quick.
Patterson back to throw again. Throw short to Dillapre. That has been relatively successful so far, but can't get past the first tackler. They will still take a 3-yard gain on first down.
And getting 3 yards with your star wide receiver doesn't feel nearly as good as getting 3 yards with your star running back.
And we go a heavy set with 1 receiver out on second down. Will be a toss play to Lee, who hasn't had a lot of involvement here, just his 3rd carry, and gets loss of 1 yard on the play. 3rd and 8 now coming up for Sin City.
Met right at the line and can't fall forward. Gets dragged backwards onto the hash and loses a yard, 3rd and 8 now.
Just one third down conversion from Sin City, and it will stay one third down conversion out of 8 as that pass is deflected again. Almost intercepted. 4th down, 6th punt of this contest officially for Sin City.
Mike Ryan going for their 2nd pick of the night, and that one would have been huge. May have even gone back for a score. Certainly would have changed the tide of this going into the 4th quarter.
And again, you go back to the footfalls of this contest for Sin City, maybe relying too much on 5 receiver sets, and it's really paid for them now as the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Carolina continues to climb that scoreboard, 17-0 at the end of 3. We'll be right back after a few short moments. And welcome back to David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. Carolina so far with a comfortable 17-0 lead as we enter the final stanza. 4s in the chat for everyone, as Carolina will go empty on this 1st down. Dynasty back to throw, looking for people in the way and can't quite get past his lineman. They might consider that a sack, and that's Sin City's 1st of this contest.
Is it a run for 0? Is it a sack for 0? We'll see what the official stats folks say, but either way, Dynasty just got a little stuck there on the guard and couldn't break out the way they wanted. They are giving Benjamin the sack on that.
They give him a 0.1 yard sack, the shortest sack ever in SFL history. I'm calling it right now. Handoff to Quintero off the right side, will get 3 yards. Now sets up a 3rd and 7, where Carolina has done relatively well in.
These 3rd and longs, though, are the Carolina tough spot. They've done well at 3rd and short, 3rd and medium. 3rd and 7's right at the edge of their comfort zone.
And they're going to go bunch on 3rd and 7. 3 receivers to the left. Roll out right for Dynasty. Almost gets hit as he throws, but Earl in the right area to get the catch, and Carolina continues to move the chains again. 1st down, Carolina.
That was not the longest pass for Dynasty tonight, but it may have been the most impressive. Cutting to the right side of the field, throwing to the left, and getting Earl right on the hip. That is just an incredible placement for that ball, for his wide receiver to be able to turn and run for a couple more yards after the snap.
Most head coaches scream at their quarterback if they throw opposite side on a rollout, but it worked just right to get Chase Earl, like you said, on a catch on the hip. Handoff to Quintero, right side, will net 2 yards off a gang tackle from Sin City. And they're going back to the run, and I don't blame them. Try to shed the clock.
And as you said, we see Harish Prasad in chat saying that was absolutely horrifying, but he's laughing about it now because it worked out for him. Sometimes the plays you drop as a coach aren't the ones that work come game time.
Toss play for McBride, who gets shoved down by Joshua Durr. Sin City's defense starting to get a little angry here. 3rd and 7 again for Carolina.
And maybe they needed this energy a little bit sooner. The Sin City defense needed to get a bit more physical, and maybe the Sin City offensive line needed to get a bit more chippy. Right now they're down 17 with that clock winding down. Under 8 minutes now.
Carolina already above their average yards per game at 250 tonight. Rollout for Dynasty, looking right side, can't find his target, and that falls incomplete under a bevy of defenders. Adam Banks was the intended target.
This time was the opposite. He rolls to the near side and tries to throw to the far side, and that's a weaker look for Dynasty. At least before, he was throwing to the dominant side of the body, and that resulted in an incompletion instead of a needed 1st down.
And now Bidwell looking to pin this deep and puts a little bit too much air under it and will fall very short. They'll hand this ball at the 20-yard line, practically a touchback for Sin City. But with 7.5 left to go, it'll be very, very tough for this Sin City offense that has only seen 129 yards of offense to move down the field.
We're definitely going to see more of this 5-wide set. Maybe a couple more of that 5-wide shotgun look we saw earlier in this half.
And we might have to use that shotgun a little bit more, which has been a bit more successful for them in this game. We've only seen it about 3 times in this contest. It's Patterson back to throw, and time runs out. Sack number 6. How do you do, Phil Hall? Make that 3.
Phil Hall is having himself a career night tonight, and on a game that, like we said in the beginning of this broadcast, they absolutely had to have. Well, Hall said that he's the one to have it.
And remember, Hall had 0 sacks coming into this game. He collects 3, just like they were pennies on the ground. 2nd and 16 now for Sin City. Back to throw, no time, and sacked again. Stinson wants to get back into this party. That's his 2nd.
Danny Stinson, the Mike linebacker, who's down on the line playing edge on this play, and you see why there. Burrito's not ready for that little shifty cut, and Stinson just eats Patterson's lunch.
We'll check that. That's Stinson's 3rd. He wanted to match Phil Hall immediately and get to Patterson, and now 3rd, and the distance between you and I geographically, John. And another draw play from Patterson. That's again another conceding kind of run play from Sin City, knowing that maybe they don't have a pass play far enough for it, and now they have to punt themselves basically right at the line of the end zone.
3rd and 21 from the 8. There's probably not a lot of plays in the playbook specifically for that situation.
And punt number 7 goes for Jets, as Pierce will just fair catch this and take it right to the 40-yard line. This has been Carolina's dream game. They have gotten to the quarterback. They have established the run. They have chewed the clock.
It's been exactly how the coaching staff drew it up for all of these players, because when they go to the air, they've had success with Pierce and Earl and Banks, and Curtis had his highlight night as well. Just beautiful work on all phases of their offense, let alone the rest of it.
Toss play from Quintero nets a very generous 0 for Sin City. Will make it 2nd and 10 for Carolina. And it hasn't been much in terms of, total yards. It hasn't been, that big explosive game that you see from, say, a Pittsburgh or a Vancouver. But Carolina's got the job done, and that's been the most important part, especially for must-win, have-to-win situations.
Well, and look at what's going on in Carolina's division right now. If they can approach next week's game against Florida with this kind of game plan, this kind of meticulous and thoughtful approach, they could be looking at a playoff berth. And once you hit the dance floor, it's anybody's game.
Which at this point, if you would have told me 3 weeks ago that Carolina still would have a chance this week at a playoff spot, I would have laughed at you. But they are 5 minutes away, if they can keep this scoreline as it is, from being 4-7. Pass bobbled loose, a dead duck, trying to find one of the receivers. Looked to be Pierce in the area, falls incomplete. They're going to have to punt this ball away back to Sin City.
Really strong pressure by the Sin City defense to force a sort of a lame duck of a throw from Dynasty there. And you're right, I think it was Pierce trying to get something down into his shins, but he was too focused on turning and running before he came down with the ball, and instead, nobody comes down with it.
Punt is up and away, and Johnson will try to return this football. Doesn't get further than the 28-yard line, and then we head back to Sin City. They'll probably
Skippy Curtis.
Go ahead.
Skippy Curtis was right there. She was playing gunner on that punt and had it perfectly. Stayed back enough to let the receiver not call the fair catch, but right there to make the hit as soon as they came down with it.
And as predicted, Sin City going to the 5-receiver set with 5 minutes left to go. Patterson back to throw, looks down middle, finds Dillapre Sr. off the left hash mark, and they're going to go with the hurry up, which I think is a smart idea here.
Absolutely. At this point, they need every second they can make use of.
Patterson back to throw, finds Dillapre again, who will shoulder himself past the 40-yard line. And for the first time in this game, they finally get themselves, or I would say in the first time in a long time, they get themselves in enemy territory. Patterson back to throw again, looking for Dillapre again, but this time falls incomplete, and then I can take a breath.
3 shots to Dillapre in a row. The first 2 for huge connections, and you see why there is so much faith between Patterson and Dillapre. There is just communication telepathically between these 2 guys, and they need it on this drive.
Yeah, they're going to need their big guns for this last 4 minutes and 36 seconds of this contest. Patterson looking left, can't find Elliott Pope Jr. Another deflection from TD Jack. I believe that's her 4th deflection of this contest.
And again, playing from that sort of hybrid inside linebacker spot when Stinson's playing on the line, TD Jack is incredible in that sort of semi-coverage spot, showing her incredible athleticism there.
The former Lycan showing her hands off to the Carolina faithful. And it has paid off as Sin City still has a goose egg, but they are marching down the field. 3rd and 10, where they've only seen 1 third down conversion. Patterson finds Talon Steele on the left side, who will find his way past the 20 to the 19. It's only their 2nd third down conversion that gets them in the red zone. Patterson back to throw again, looking deep, finds Steele, but it bobbles out of his hands. It falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Samurai.
I'm pretty sure that was Tristan Hatley there on the coverage, just physical, bodying the receiver right at the line. Would have been a score had it not been for that incredible play.
A quiet game from Hatley, but he can show up when Carolina needs him to show up. 2nd and 10, still in the 5 receiver set. Patterson looking middle, finds Kenny Hendricks down the center of this field. Don't turn the dials yet. 6 on the board for Sin City.
And they needed that score, and they needed it just as fast as they got it. If Sin City's going to make a comeback on the game, they need to be driving down the field with authority like they did there.
Yeah, and it was a very quick drive from Sin City to get down the field. They trusted in the hurry up. They trusted in their big name receivers and their hot receivers as well, as Kendricks gets himself the touchdown. That is his 5th of the season. And finally, after 36 minutes of football, Sin City is on the board and is only within 10 in this contest. 17-7 is your score. Monday, Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty are back for the Monday Night Spectacular. This week, the South is on the line when the Mexico City Aztecs and Houston Headhunters battle for the 22nd time in SFL history. Kickoff at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. The SFL lives on the Virtual Football Network as that onside kick recovery fails for Sin City, and Carolina will have themselves prime field goal position.
Big number 82, Miller, is just standing ready for it. Doesn't come on it too soon. We don't want to see any penalties. And this has actually been a very penalty-free second half by both of these teams. You've been seeing some clean football here tonight. You love to see it.
It also begs the question, John, you have to think, do you think it was the right idea with 4 minutes left to go with the onside kick, or trust on your defense? As this handoff goes to Riley Quintero, and it will net himself 7 yards on this one. We're going to get our first game break, though, and we're going to check out the contest over in Cameron Irvine. I can't say words right now.
Hey, Brett, thank you. It's been slim pickings over here in Buffalo, but it's been a war. That 9-play drive of over 3 minutes results in Queen City's 3rd field goal of the night. It's the Corsairs on top of the Toros in an elimination game, 9-7, with 3:20 to go in the 3rd. Back to you.
Cameron, you can put that down as one of the worst game break segues in SFL history out there. I apologize for that. But Queen City and Fort Worth looking for playoff positioning as this play for Ike McBride nets Carolina a 1st down. And again, apologies, Mr. Irvine. I'll try to do better if you give me another game break.
That was some artful, masterfully done work there, Brett. I'm glad to be learning from the experts here today. Just like Ike McBride was learning from Quintero on that carry. Incredible work to spin out there and get that 1st down, keep this drive alive for Carolina.
Yeah, and right now, the name of the game is just, inching this clock to get to triple zeros, because that's what Carolina wants. They want to get out of here with a victory. Handoff to Quintero, past the 1st level, will get 6 yards on the play, and really, that's what you want out of Quintero right now.
Keeping that ball moving, falling forward, and keeping control, right? You need to keep possession if you're Carolina, as we're approaching now 30 seconds to go before the 2-minute warning.
And they're just going to saunter themselves up to the line. 2nd and 4. I would suspect this is going to be a run. This time looks like Ike McBride is the running back in the backfield. Draining that clock down, it will be a handoff to McBride, and she can't get to the line of scrimmage. And again, Sin City knows where McBride is going, but haven't solved the Riley Quintero problem as 2 minutes have hit. 120 seconds left to go. Carolina with a 10-point lead. 17-7 is your score line coming up to 2 minutes. Two minutes left to go here in Carolina. 17-7 is your score. Brett Solberg alongside John Campbell, and you've got Ike McBride and Takeda Yuki over in stats. Third down run, this time to Quintero, will get stuffed before the first down marker. Sin City will call their first timeout, but Carolina has a chance to kick a field goal with Malone Brown again.
And that was a strong run there by Quintero. And at this point in the field, yeah, we're just going to take the points. Go up again, take that 13-point lead back, give yourself a bit of breathing space if you're Carolina.
This is a relative chip shot down the middle for Malone Brown as he sails this and it goes right down Main Street. Carolina gets back their two-possession lead, makes it 20-7 with about less than 2 minutes left to go here, John.
The only thing to say about that drive, if you're a Carolina coach, you wish it took a little bit longer. 2 minutes, 20 seconds is just a little bit too little time off that clock. Sin City still has a chance here. They're going to have to keep slinging and sprinting the way they did on that last drive, though.
And credit where credit is due. They did use a lot of time on there, and they did move down the field 15 yards. Pope Jr. trying to get a return past the 20 and will stop himself at the 24-yard line after a decent spin move. And John, we're going to have to see the same thing that we saw in the last Sin City drive.
Lots of empty set, lots of hurry up, and lots of quick balls out to Dillapre Sr.
Their 19-yard touchdown drive after 6 plays went 1 minute and 19 seconds. They've got $1:46 left to at least get 7 of those points back. We're going to need to see fourth quarter Scar Patterson to come back from that Queen City game last week. The name of the game has been 5 receivers for Sin City. Patterson back to throw. Will look right side, finds Kenny Hendricks, who will net himself 4 yards, doesn't get out of bounds. Sin City is forced to call their second timeout.
They say the tackle came in right on the edge of the green. Really strong work by that team tackling on Skyhawks defense.
And this is a number you don't see too often. 17 of 31 for Patterson, which is something you don't normally see, a sub 60%. Patterson back to throw, looking left side, gets caught off the deflection. Great wherewithal from Talon Steele to net the catch and the first down. Final timeout called by the Samurai.
Incredible play by Steele there. So many of the receivers, let alone tight ends, wide receivers are going to let that ball hit the turf. For Steele to watch that all the way down into a reception was extraordinary.
And Skippy saying to herself, hey, I got to lay off the butterfingers. Patterson throwing down middle, finds Dillapre Sr. past midfield at the 40-yard line, and now they're going to go hurry up.
Dillapre just over the century mark with that catch.
And they're going to stay aggressive on this one. Patterson looking down middle again, trying to find Dillapre, and it's bobbled and intercepted. Rochelle Colston, right place, right time, and this will net game. Goodbye. See you later. Auf Wiedersehen for Carolina.
Colston showing Skippy how it's done. She looks over to the safety on the other side, says, you've dropped 2 picks tonight. Let me give you some pointers. Just absolutely brings that ball home and puts Carolina comfortably in control of this game.
And this will net Carolina that all-important 4th win. They needed to win this game to have a chance to win the East Division next week against Carolina, and more importantly, it's going to be at home against Florida. So a huge win for Carolina, whereas for Sin City, it doesn't look like they're going to get themselves a West Division title out of this, but they still have a chance at playoff positioning if they can beat Vancouver next week, currently marked at November 2nd, but we'll see with how the scheduling pans out for that final Week 16 matchup as Carolina will go into the kneel downs.
This victory formation has got to feel incredible for every single person involved in this Skyhawks organization, from the coaches and owners down to the deepest player on the depth chart. Coming into this week, nobody had Carolina coming away with the win. The hot streak that the Samurai were on, how much stronger these two divisions look relative to each other. Everyone thought that this was going to be a 3-score game, but everyone thought it was going to be the Samurai coming on top. This series, once again, the home team wins. What an incredible game, Brett.
From 1-6 to clawing themselves, winning 3 of their last 4 to have fate decided in Week 16. The Skyhawks pull away in the victory against Sin City, 20-17, your final score, and Carolina did it through the ground, they did it through defense, they did it all. Quick recap, John Campbell, before we send us off.
There are so many Skyhawks that you have got to give love to today. The obvious one being Riley Quintero and the rushing attack that he was able to put forward. But we cannot let this game end without a call out to Phil Hall and Danny Stinson. That front 7 of the Skyhawks was out of control. Just sack city tonight.
Start of the 4th quarter for Queen City and Fort Worth. 14-9 is the contest for them. If you're not ready to stop watching football, head on over there. On behalf of John Campbell, Ike McBride, Takeda Yuki, and of course, Cameron Irvine in the producer booth. My name is Brett Sahlberg. 20-7, it make the final for the Carolina Skyhawks. We thank you for coming into the show, and we will bid you all a bidu.